We got it.
All right, 1.4, building functions from functions.
What is uncorroborated?
How would you rank this
section?
section? Do you think it's
How would you rank?
easy, or do you think it's difficult?
How would you tier list this section?
Just don't say.
I think
it's
composition's easy. Do you think composition functions are easy? I think they're fun.
Well, she did say it was gonna be fun.
And I was confused.
I think it's fun. I like
You're
them.
also the math features.
Okay, whatever, but still. Okay,
We'll see.
so find the formulas for the functions f plus g, f minus g, and f times g.
Oh my goodness, I haven't even written it. Sorry.
So we're going to start with number 2. So f of x is equal to x minus 1 squared, and g of x is 3 minus x. And they want us to find f of x plus g of x.
Did everybody get sick on the trip?
They were sick before they left.
And also, I just haven't
Girl,
slept.
Emily gave you laryngitis.
She did.
F of x minus g of x and f of x times g of x.
Oh, it should have hurt me at the tournament. That was bad.
Oh.
My voice is cracked.
You guys are gonna beat Stonebridge tonight, right?
Hello. Yes.
Because I'm gonna be there cheering you on.
Yeah, I think that was the problem.
Yeah, I wasn't
He
there
wasn't
last
there
time.
at that time.
All right, so when we're adding them, we're just gonna put them together. We're gonna have to multiply this out and then combine like terms. So it has x minus 1 squared plus 3 minus x. So what would this multiply into? This is a special type, so what would it be? It is a special type.
It's a special type.
Because obviously it's
No, my notes.
obviously
You need to see it this way. But it's a special type, so what is it?
difference. No, not difference.
I'm not asking you to tell me what type it is. I'm asking you to tell me what it becomes.
X plus
Oh, that part.
You're missing
I was
a middle
like,
term.
How are we putting the 3 minus x there?
Oh, I'm missing the middle term. Oh. So x squared.
X squared minus x
Minus 2.
Yeah.
X plus 1.
There we go. Plus 3 minus x.
Sorry.
No, we got it. We just had to foil.
Yeah, we
Oh,
were
it's
just
had a
foiling
foil.
it.
Oh.
Okay, so then combine like terms. So we have x squared minus 3x plus 4. So that's your first one.
Hard.
It's okay, guys. It's Monday.
It's
It's
Tuesday.
exactly.
It's feeling very Monday.
Proves my point.
It's Tuesday, guys.
All right, f of x minus g of x. So we're going to do the same thing except for we're subtracting this time. So x minus 1 squared minus 3 minus x.
Oh, we were adding
So the nice thing is you already know what this becomes, so you can just copy it again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put you through the torture again.
Okay.
So then this minus, okay, has to go to both pieces, so it's going to be minus 3
Plus x.
plus x, yep.
Yeah.
We gotta do the same.
So then combine like terms, so we have x squared minus x minus 2.
Oh, dang it. The wrong side.
All right, and then the last one is multiplying. So we have x minus 1 squared times 3 minus x. So what am I going to have to do here?
Like triple foiling.
super foil. Okay, well, this, we already know what this is. Okay, so again, you can just copy it down. So then multiply that by 3 minus x. So what is that going to give us? Just walk me through each piece. We'll combine later.
Okay, let's try this. So we're gonna go with 3x squared.
Okay.
Negative 6x. No, that's
What? Oh, are you going across? You're doing this one, and
Yeah.
okay, never mind. We're good.
Okay.
That was just not the order I thought you were gonna go in. That's why I was like, what?
And plus 3.
Okay.
And then negative x cubed plus 2x. Oh, 3x. Yeah, 2x.
What?
2x squared.
Okay.
2x squared. 2x squared.
Wait.
Right away.
And then minus 1x.
Okay. Now,
X. It's fine.
tell me the right order it should be written in combined like terms.
I gotta actually write it down.
Negative
Okay,
x
I'll give you
cubed plus 6x squared.
6.
What?
3x.
Oh, 5. Sorry, guys. I
Why did
multiplied.
I say 3?
I was like, am I missing a term?
No, I just multiplied.
Oh my goodness.
Minus 7x
Yep.
plus 3. Wow. I did not like that.
I mean, I'm not confused. I'm confused because I'm like, this is easy.
I'm confusing
Ew, I
myself.
But this is also the first question. So
I was gonna say it's only the first question, guys.
Does it get harder?
Yes,
Not
yes.
really, but
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Wait, highlighter.
It's more stuff than no, though.
Are you guys still first to stay?
Oh yeah.
yes. All right.
I really wish we were playing South
These
Park.
ones say find the formulas for f divided by g and g divided by f. So, oh, and to give the domain of each. So we're going to do that as well. So number 6, f of x equals the square root of x minus 2. G of x equals the square root of x plus 4. So first we're doing f divided by g. So we start out with the square root of x minus 2 over square root of x plus 4. So we're looking at domain. What do we care about?
Bottom.
You can't have square root of
Okay.
1. Equaling it to 0? Doesn't make
A square root can't be 0.
I thought we had an equal root. What the heck? This is why I failed that work.
Then you just
What can a square root not be? To be real.
negative,
Can't be negative. So it needs to be what?
positive.
Okay, so greater than or equal to 0. So x plus 4. Well,
Ooh.
now, going back to what you said, the denominator can't be 0. So it just has to be greater than for this one. So what does that mean?
X is greater than negative 4.
Okay. And then because I can't have a negative, what also needs to be true with this one under the radical? Is the top also a radical?
Yes.
So I need to do the same thing. So x minus 2 is, this one could be greater than or equal to 0. So x is greater than or equal to 2. So x is going to have to be the same thing for both of them. So can x be negative 2? So if x is negative 2, that's going to give me a negative on top, right, under the radical, and that's a problem, right? So what would my domain be then? What do I care about when I'm looking for my domain?
X.
So, and I can include it because the top can be 0, so 2 to infinity.
Where's another one?
We're doing the g over f, but yeah.
Apparently, a lady came in when I was doing gate, and she was like, "Are they playing Southampton?"
Oh yeah, Southampton came to the school.
They did,
Yep, the bus came to the school.
and I was like, "No, they're playing Hampton Christian." And she was like, "Okay, thanks," and she left. So I don't know.
All right, so g over f, so we're doing the square root of x plus 4 over the square root of x minus 2.
Wait, I know a question. So unrelated. What did you get on the forensics activity?
I got an 80. For the
Thought she was asking me, and I was like, what?
for the hair thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got an
What'd
80.
you get?
What'd you get?
I got a 70.
Wait, how did you get less?
Okay, so
Yeah, me.
what do I need to do for this one? I still need to find the domain, so how am I going to do that for this one?
So the bottom it has to be x minus 2
Yeah.
is
Greater
greater than.
or equal to.
Can the bottom be
Just
0?
greater than, just
Oh,
greater
it
than.
can't be 0.
Greater than 0.
So just greater than.
Yeah.
So x is greater than 2,
X is greater than 2.
and then we can do the same thing for the top.
But the top just can't be what?
Negative.
Okay, the top can be 0, so it is going to be greater than or equal to.
So it's greater than or equal to -4.
So which one am I going to use for my domain?
Greater than
2.
The 2. Das
But notice that the difference with this one is that it's going to be a parentheses instead of a bracket.
It's not.
Because it does not include 2 this time.
Oh, wait, this is easy.
Okay.
Actually, it's
Get it
because
now.
Elijah dropped the microscope on my thing.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. I was so mad.
I was so upset. And then he had the nerve to mock Miss Marshall. He deserved to get yelled at. He was
Okay.
On a slide, it almost broke a
So
mic.
now we're going to do compositions of functions. Okay, I think we kind of covered these last year, but probably not as much as,
Oh. I only remember for some reason last year was trig, which is confusing.
well, that was a good chunk of last year, so.
All I remember are logarithms.
I remember
They were
simplifying.
easy.
We didn't even
Freshman.
get to logarithms.
Alright, so
Well,
12 f of
I
x
also
is
didn't do
equal
trig.
to x squared minus 1, and g of x is
Special
equal
exception.
to 2x minus 3, and it wants us to find f composed of g of 3, and also, go down here and write it,
Oh, so it tells
G
you which
composed
one it
of
wants you
F.
to find?
of negative 2. Yes.
Is that a multiplying symbol?
No, it's like it means like of.
Oh.
The way that if I did do it with you last year, I would have written it like this.
Not ringing the bells.
It probably will in a second.
Okay.
I know we did it. I just don't remember how much time we were able to spend on it because I don't.
How would not lie because we were
Remember
so
when we did
behind on everything last year.
I think it was something we did like right at the end. So I don't
Side
think we
note,
spent
these
much
things
time
are so comfortable. Like, I constantly want to fall asleep, so it's kind of bad.
on it. Okay, so what we're doing here is we are taking g of x and plugging it in for x in f of x. Okay, now you can plug in the 3 first if you want and get a number and then plug it in, or you can do the functions first. But I'm just going to do it as the functions first and plug the number in last because there will be problems that you just have to do a function into a function. So I'd rather you see what that looks like. Anyways, I think the other way is easier, so I'm going to do the harder way to demonstrate. So Anywhere we see x and f of x, we're going to put this equation for g of x. So I'm going to have 2x minus 3 squared. So that takes care of the x squared part over here, minus 1. So anywhere you see x, we're replacing it with g of x. That's what this is telling you.
That's what the little, okay.
That's what this is telling you is anywhere, because this would be that. But we are replacing x with g of x, which I wrote it as g of 3 because ultimately we're plugging in a number. But just so that y'all see how to plug the function into a function, I'm going to do it this way, and then we'll plug in the number last. So multiply this out or factor this out. What do you get?
You get
If you need to see it out this way to help you.
4x squared minus
12x plus 9.
Yep.
what she said.
And then minus 1. So then at this point, if you want, go ahead and plug in the 3 to save you a step. So 4 times 3 squared minus 12 times 3 plus 9 minus 1. So what do I get? You can, like, explain across. You don't have to just give me a final
Okay,
answer.
so
if
we
you don't.
have
What is this?
36
36.
minus 36 plus 9 minus
Which ends up giving you what?
1. 8.
All right, so the next one, I will plug in the number first so that you see it actually makes it a little bit easier if you plug in the number first. But I just wanted you to see the way of actually plugging a function into a function. Yeah. So in this case, we have g of f of negative 2. Okay, so that means in f, I'm going to plug in negative 2 for x. Okay, I need to go back so I can actually see it. So I'm going to put in negative 2 for x and f of x first. So negative 2 squared minus 1 is what?
3.
Oh my goodness, what is happening? Okay.
Yeah.
3. So now in g of x, I'm plugging in 3 for x. Okay, because now what I have, f of negative 2 is equal to 3. So this is f of negative 2, just so you can see it. So now I'm doing g of that, which was 3. So I'm plugging in 3 for g. So what is that going to be? So 2 times 3 minus 3, yeah. Would be what?
3.
3. So it is a little bit easier if you plug in the number first, in my opinion, but you can do it whichever way you want. And don't worry, I'm going to do another one.
I personally prefer it that way, but I show my kids both.
This one, plugging in the
Yeah.
number first.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I
If
always do.
If it's a number, I do it that way because you're dealing with smaller numbers than composing the functions and then doing that.
Yeah.
But I show like the same problem side by side.
Yeah, I like plugging in the number first because then you're just, you're not working with all this crazy stuff up here and factoring and whatever. But
Oh, I forgot. So we're still using the same g of x that we used for 12
right,
because we're still on 12. Oh,
yeah,
I was like, wait.
it's just 2 separate problems underneath of
That makes sense.
yeah.
I was. Okay, got it.
Okay, we're gonna do another one of those, a little bit different. So 14, we're still finding the f of g of 3 and g of f of negative 2. We're still doing that, but f of x is equal to x over x plus 1, and g of x is 9 minus x squared. So f of g of 3 and honestly on a test or a quiz you're most likely to see me write it like this when I'm asking you the question. I'm not as inclined to write it like this because I just like this way it looks better, but it doesn't really matter. So this is again f of g of 3. Okay, so that means in g, I'm going to plug in the number 3 for x. Okay, so I'm going to find that first. So g of 3 would be equal to what? Or what would it be?
0.
Okay, because it's 9 minus 3 squared, which is going to be 0. So then now I do f of 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x. So I have 0 over 0 plus 1, which is going to be what? 0.
That was easy.
All right, so then we have the other one, the g of f of negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it. G of f of negative 2. So I'm plugging in negative 2 for x and f first. So f of negative 2 is going to be negative 2 over negative 2 plus 1, which is what?
2.
So that's 2. And then for g, so g of 2, so 9 minus 2 squared is 5. All right.
Therefore, I think.
So the next one's f of g of x and g of f of x. So there's no numbers to plug in. So this is just plugging a function into a function, which is why I showed you that way to begin with, and didn't let you plug in the number till the end because these next ones don't have a number to plug in. Bless you. Last night I sneezed like 8 times. Like could not stop. It
Oh
just
my gosh, this morning I
it was
had like
bad.
a million tissues on my bed. Like it was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's so bad. Allergy season is awful for me. All right, so f of x is x squared minus 1. G of x is 1 over x minus 1. And so we're doing f of g of x and g of f of x. So f of g of x. So I'm going to let y'all tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
I'll get there.
Give me just a minute. So we're plugging in the function. We don't have any numbers.
There's no number, so yeah, we skip that step.
So
What does this tell me I'm supposed to do?
now plug in the g of x
Where?
into
The X.
the
See, I wrote things down.
Okay, yep,
Oh,
into
that
the
one.
x squared. So I'm going to have 1 over x minus 1 squared minus 1.
Hold on.
okay. Oh.
Can I do anything else?
Yeah, you can square things.
Okay, which would give you what?
Did we get the minus from 1 from the f of x?
Yeah. It's just from the original. You're plugging, right now, we're taking this and plugging it in right here.
Oh. Okay.
And then in a minute, we'll do the reverse of that. Would you let them leave it this way, or would you make them multiply it out?
Are you going to make them combine fractions and make it all one thing?
No, probably
Then I would
not.
leave it like that.
Okay.
If you're not gonna make them make it a single fraction,
There's
then
no
I would
point.
leave it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make them, make it a single fraction, obviously, multiply it.
Sometimes I will multiply them out and just so that they see the different ways that it would be, but
I would make mine multiply it out, but is this an honors level class or is this
this is just straight pre-cal.
then I wouldn't make it, then you just leave it. Just leave it.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. You don't have to multiply it. I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
leave it too.
That's good.
And in honors class, I would make them work it out, but
Yeah, well, sometimes I do. I just, like, we'll factor the bottom, or, you know, but.
there is a double standard.
We don't barely have enough for a pre-cal class.
Next
Well,
year,
my,
when it's AP.
My pre-calc is only taught as an honors level class. Like, we don't even teach a standard version of it.
Yeah. I don't know what they technically consider this because it's only, I mean, there's only one of them.
I mean,
Yeah.
we
There's only one
technically
option,
Teach
so.
standard chemistry.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
Miss Marshall teaches AP Chem. She just doesn't have enough
She doesn't.
periods.
Yeah.
Or accreditation apparently.
Yeah.
But my kids that take pre-calc have all come through all honors classes to get to me.
Oh, okay. So.
All right, so then the reverse, we're taking this and plugging it in.
Okay, we're taking
Okay.
this. It's clicked, man. It's clicked.
So 1 over
I think it just-
x squared minus 1 minus 1,
Never mind.
which is what?
It's 1 over x squared minus 2.
Yep.
And the fact that he's taking notes in pen just makes me cringe.
I don't really care so much about the notes, but everything
I do all
else
my
is
homework and
is-
stuff in pencil.
He learned the hard way last year because there was something that I said, it was like a quiz or something, I think, that he took in pen, and I wrote at the top, the next one is a 0.
I do likewise.
I mean, I did make it through half the year.
My Algebra 1 kids the other day, I have to tell them that they can't do this, but they took their entire test in pen, both of them. And I did not realize it until I was grading it, and I was like, and I have now realized that they do everything in pen and math.
That's just toxic.
I was like,
I hate
ugh.
pencil.
I like how I
can't
write
deal
better
with
in
it
pen,
against
but, like,
paper. It's
I make
trash.
too
Because
many
you're also a
mistakes in
lefty,
math.
so that might make it worse.
So much.
Don't like it.
Yeah, I get.
She has a nice smudge on her pinky.
I don't get smudges. I'm used to being left-handed, so I don't get smudges anymore.
Well, cause you write like this and it confuses me.
I write like this.
No, but then like it's like over the. I'm just like.
I'm using a gel pen writing as a lefty.
I don't get smudges.
I use like smear-free pens. You gotta get like expensive pens. How is this you went to?
Is that T of X?
F.
Oh, I thought that was a T.
It was so
I don't
adorable.
think it really matter though.
It doesn't, but I was trying to make sure I got the right
I
letter.
did leave there with hives on my face, though.
Are you allergic to cat?
I guess apparently.
You have a cat.
Is that a little 3?
Yes.
Like,
Yes, a cube root.
cool. What?
I do have a cat, but I've never gotten
We have
hives
seen them
from-
before, I promise.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so.
What's
but-
that with the
Wait,
3
we've seen
on
that
the
before?
root and the F?
A cube root?
Really? Oh no, I was being so.
Oh, I was like,
No,
we
I
just said
promise-
it.
No, I've seen it.
Oh, I have not.
Last year.
No, I don't.
You have seen it. I promise.
I don't remember what I had for dinner.
Especially last
You
year.
sound like Kenny.
I don't remember things. I mean,
Me neither.
I can tell you like every single Pokemon ever, but like,
I can
All right,
remember everything
f of
better.
g of x. So what am I doing?
we're plugging g of x into the x cubed.
So I have the cube root of 1 minus x cubed, and that whole thing is being cubed. I am going to make you finish this one.
I
Okay,
don't
the
know
whole
how.
Thing, the whole thing is being cubed because we're moving the
There's too many.
x cube into the.
Because you're putting this in here.
There's too many cubes. I don't.
Wouldn't it just be 1 minus x cubed?
Yep. The
They
cube and the
cancel.
cube root cancel each other.
Okay, that's amazing.
Okay.
See, I told you this stuff is fun.
Okay, which makes
Well,
the
G of f of x.
so that makes the radical go away.
On this one? Is
If
that what
you
you're
had
asking?
the
Yes.
cube
I
root
thought you were talking
one-
about the next one, and I was like, well,
No,
slow down,
no,
slow down.
No.
Yes, it makes it go away because the cube root and the cube are going to offset each other.
Okay, so now we're just doing the opposite.
Well, you don't even know. Oh, never mind. No,
What?
no. Ignore me.
So this
I do.
going in here. So what is that going to give me?
Cube radical of 1 minus.
It's called a cube root.
Yeah, not a cube radical.
I mean, I appreciate that they're using the word radical. I mean, good terminology. But
You know.
no.
Of what? 1 minus what?
X cubed.
X cubed.
Which is what? What is
X
this?
To the 9th.
Yep.
Is that the answer? Okay.
Oh, it doesn't feel like it should be.
No.
What?
Good old
All right.
fate.
Y'all ready to try one on your own?
Yeah.
Not really, but sure.
Yeah, I guess I have to eventually.
Yeah. I think
I
we
do
have
have to take a test on this.
This
so I
thing-
guess I should.
yeah.
All right. F of x equals 1 over x plus 1. Yeah, this is not, well, it will be an all over, but not yet. G of x equals 1 over x minus 1. And so you're still finding f of g of x and g of f of x.
Oh,
And you need to
will
work
be
it all
an
the way out.
It will be an all over. That's nasty.
I'll give you a couple minutes and we'll go over it.
That's an ugly question. I like it. That's an ugly question.
It is, but it's good for them.
Yeah, no. When my calculus kids have to do limits with complex fractions, oh, they hate them.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun at all.
That's what you have to look forward to next year.
Yummy.
I just
Have
thought
fun,
this.
you guys.
Sorry. I don't know
What do I have to look forward to? What am I looking forward to?
Doing limits like this, like the setup of what this is going to look like.
Frankly, I like them. My kids do pre-calculus without a calculator.
I ain't that smart. I could no.
Well,
So
Well,
I
no,
can't do
they get little toys. They can add, subtract, multiply, divide, and square root. That's it. That's all their calculators can do that they're allowed to use for my entire pre-calc class.
Well, I'm okay with that.
I think I'm going to implement that starting tomorrow.
No.
So nothing that does fractions.
Dang, I forgot.
It's great entertainment.
For you.
It's high quality entertainment.
I agree.
Okay, let me see.
We actually one time I had a girl who could add fractions beautifully. She couldn't multiply fractions.
That doesn't make any sense. Isn't it easy?
I can't.
It
add
is.
It's
fractions.
literally easier.
It is. So they got a worksheet on multiplying fractions thanks to her. Everyone else in the class liked the assignment. It was easy. She still can't multiply fractions. She's in college,
Oh.
taking stats.
Oh. Kinda need that.
She can do it in a calculator. She just can't do
Can
it
we
by
all?
hands.
Honestly. Actually, no. I can't do some things.
I've seen a lot of calculator
My
error.
calculator's so dumb.
I tell them, I'm like, your calculator's only as smart as you are.
I had several kids on my last test tell me that 5 times 5 was 10.
With a
Oh.
calculator in front of them.
It was my standard class. They probably didn't even type it in.
Love
I
to
don't
see
know why you
it.
would need to type 5 times 5 in.
Be surprised.
Well, apparently they did because they thought it was tangent.
That's really accurate.
I
Really.
personally enjoy, and I will mock the honors kids if they do like 3 divided by 1 in their calculator. To which their response is always, you gotta check, it might have changed.
It might have changed.
Let me tell you, I do that all the
I
time.
do that all the time.
It might have changed.
Hey, I'd rather them check their work than turn it in and be wrong, but
1 divided by 1 might have changed. I don't know.
Mine love when I ask them a simple math question after they've turned in tests while I'm grading them. Such as, what's 2 times 3? Because they know that they wrote something wrong on their test.
I did that. Was that this class? No, it was college algebra. They did something like a week or so ago like that. It cracked me up. I don't remember what it was, but it really cracked me up at the time.
One of my calculus kids hates fractions, and she's so glad to have her calculator back that can do fractions this year. It's her best friend.
I'm getting there. Don't worry, guys. I got this.
What are you, oh, I'm
Trying to find which question it was that they did. But there was
What am I
something that they
supposed to
told
do
me.
What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed
It's got
to
a
do?
triple
Wait,
decker.
how did
It's got a
I-
triple
my
decker.
My guess is to get a
Word.
common denominator.
Is that a devotion? I mean,
A
devotion.
devotion. You got a triple
It wasn't
decker.
that, but I don't remember what it was, but it
No,
was.
you're doing
You'll,
over
I mean,
and
you
over.
will always have kids up
Because you're putting the G lines into the X.
Give me,
That
can
they
I
just-
do this?
Someone
You
told
didn't
me
even
that.
do anything.
I don't someone told me that 5 times 5 was 30 also. There was 5 squared, they were telling me it was 30.
Oh.
Why are we all stuck on this?
Kristen, did you figure it out?
Figure one out.
20.
No, I think that was his
That's a
answer.
good question.
I think we're
Just
stuck.
We're stuck? Okay.
No, I think we're all
I'll have
stuck.
to figure out what
I got a
it was.
triple decker, so I don't even know.
I don't know.
That's how far I got.
Okay, well let's
That's why.
tell me how far you got.
Plugging it in.
Don't make me sad.
Plugging it in.
You're gonna be sad.
That's it.
Don't get your hopes up.
We all got to plugging it
So
in.
1 over 1 over x minus 1 plus 1.
Yep, that's where we're going.
Oh, it's +1.
Okay, I did that.
Okay.
I made it -1.
So, what should I do to the bottom?
Oh,
You should.
I put x plus 1 after I plugged it in.
Should you, wait.
Because I can't leave it like that.
Should
No,
you,
you have.
How would I add these two things together?
you have to make.
Common denominator.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would I get a common denominator?
Multiply by x minus 1.
Well, I really just multiplied
I knew
the
that.
bottom.
If that's where we have conversations about what property is that.
I literally knew that, and I didn't.
Oh, did you? You literally.
I just gave her the answer.
Oh, yeah, you literally knew that.
So 1 over, or all over, 1 over, or well, here, we'll do this. The bottom is just going to be x minus 1. I know, because we're not done. So this would just be plus x minus 1.
Wait, oh no.
So this is 1 over x minus 1. Now what? What do I do when I divide by a fraction?
You multiply by a reciprocal.
So what is my answer?
Hold up.
Multiply by the reciprocal.
Wait.
Look, watch guys. 1 times x minus 1 over x.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So what is it?
It is x minus 1 over x.
Yay. Okay, so now I want you to do the g of f of x now that we've had a nice refresher on common denominators.
I would have even made it 1 over 1 times the x minus 1 over x.
This is too much.
If it's a number other than 1, I do it, but
Okay, I can do this one, guys.
Can you?
What's the next one?
Debatable.
It's okay, John.
all right.
They despise these.
I think they're fun.
Oh, I don't dislike them. My kids despise
Okay,
them.
you guys.
Because we do a
are
bunch of
math
them in
teachers.
calculus for limits.
You guys are math teachers.
That's your job to like math.
I could never. In my entire life. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
watching kids do it. Fun watching.
It's not fun for us.
You have a random kid at your door. Or
Oh, hey, Jake.
Oh, hey, Jake.
It's
It's not a random kid. He's in this class.
Hello.
Why don't you have like a
stuff?
bag to
Why don't you
put
put it in your
stuff
locker?
I was
Hey,
petting
they gave you a neon green jersey like that. I'm going to Dick's Sporting Goods and getting a purple one so I don't have to change for Gateway every time. It's so
What, did
annoying.
they have a green one?
Their team is green.
Their team is green, so apparently they get the refs get confused. I literally have pants and gloves on. I don't know how it's that confusing.
Yeah.
Why did we do that?
What's the X?
Doesn't even make any sense.
The lockers are nearby.
I remember when I went to public school, my locker was on the 3rd floor, and all my classes were on the 2nd and 1st floor.
My classroom is the furthest classroom from the stairwell. Like I am we're the last ones out in a fire drill. Like
Oh, so
we have
you
the
guys are
furthest to
back.
travel. I'm on the 2nd story, all the way in the back. I'm as far
Hey,
as you can get from
at
an
least
exit.
If there's an intruder, they probably
We are gonna be the furthest. We are the last ones.
Oh,
to
the middle
to
floors are
reach.
dead.
Middle floors are so dead.
Natural selection.
No, Mrs. Schindler literally told them, if there is an intruder, we're dead. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Our middle school's all the way at the back of our building, so they would get to me before they would get to the middle school. If they bothered to walk up the stairs.
Honestly, I would walk
Yeah,
this wall.
Jay. Yeah, you
Huh?
walked in a confusing time.
I don't want to know what this is.
You
But you
have
will
to.
have
We have a
to.
test on Friday.
It's gonna have to.
I think I have the answer.
Yeah, I would
Wait.
suggest you watch this video.
Also
later
might
today.
have the answer.
Is it x plus 1 over x?
Is it?
I think so.
I would hope so.
I got
You just
x
have to
minus
use the
1
side.
over 2 plus x.
This is what?
What?
1.4?
I thought
Yes.
you just had to change the side.
Notes for that.
You just, it's
I
it's the
have
same
notes
problem.
for a
Change the
few other
side.
problems.
Oh.
Okay, you can show me after I'm done with this. This is the last one we're doing today.
Okay.
Alright, so we have 1 over
Please.
1 over x plus 1 minus 1. So what did you do?
I ain't gonna say what I did. 'Cause
I
No, I did the.
I multiplied by x plus 1
Yeah.
over x
Over
plus
x plus
1.
1.
And then I got 1 over negative 1 plus x plus 1 over x plus 1.
what did you just say?
What?
Slow down.
I didn't.
I
It's
got
literally the
1
exact same
over 1
problem.
plus x plus 1
Just different.
1
plus
minus
Oh,
x
plus
minus 1.
What?
Where's your minus x?
Why is it?
Yeah, same thing. That's I got that. I just
Multiplying it by negative.
Oh.
That's what's different about this one than this one.
Oh yeah. I didn't know.
Over x plus 1. So 1 over negative x over x plus 1. Divide by a fraction, multiply by the reciprocal, so we would get x plus 1 over negative x.
Wow.
I
I
was
did
close.
not get that. I was
Wait,
not
wait.
close.
Oh, I need to. I can't read it. 1 over
I got you.
oh, thanks.
Make it bigger. Alright, so I know we don't normally have homework, but because we need to have a test on Friday, you are going to have homework today.
Oh.
That's fine.
Sounds fine. Because I need to do these.
That's okay.
We have a little bit more to do with this section, but we're going to do it tomorrow. 1, 5, 11, 17, 19, and 21.